Hi, this presentation is on drugs used for inducing vomiting. These are also called emetics or emetic drugs. Mechanism of vomiting. Vomiting is a protective mechanism for eliminating unwanted harmful material from stomach. Vomiting is caused by stimulation of vomiting center in medulla oblongata. Vomiting center receives efferent impulses from CTZ or chemoreceptor trigger zone, from vestibular apparatus, from GI, and centers in brain. CTZ and NTS, that is nucleus tractus solitarius, are important relay areas for efferent impulses arising from GIT, throat, and other parts of body. CTZ is not protected by blood-brain barrier and is stimulated by various drugs, chemicals, toxins, and radiation. Cytotoxic drugs, GI irritants, and radiation cause release of 5-hydroxytryptamine from enterochromophil cells. 5-HT acts on 5-HT receptors on primary afferent neurons, which send impulses to CTZ and NTS. Many peptides like substance P and others are also involved. CTZ and NTS express number of receptors like histamine H1 receptors, muscarinic receptors, neurokinin NK1 receptors which are activated by substance P, cannabinoid CB1 receptors, and opioid receptors through which emetic signals are relayed, and these can be the targets for anti-emetic drug. Means these can be target for the drug which reduce the vomiting. Vestibular apparatus in ear generates impulses when body is rotated or when equilibrium is disturbed or when toxic drugs act on vestibular apparatus. These impulses from vestibular apparatus reach vomiting center, which are mainly relayed from cerebellum, and they utilize muscarinic and histamine H1 receptors. So impulses from vestibular apparatus reaches to vomiting center and vomiting is produced whenever there is a rotation of body or when there is a disturbance of the equilibrium. Various unpleasant stimuli like bad odor, bad sight, severe pain, fever, and recall of obnoxious events and certain drugs, they cause nausea and vomiting through higher brain centers. Nausea is associated with reduced gastric tone and reduced peristalsis. Fundus and body of stomach, lower esophageal sphincter and esophagus, they relax, while duodenum and pyloric sphincter, they contract. The rhythmic contraction of diaphragm and abdominal muscle then compress the stomach and leads to evacuation of contents via mouth in the form of vomiting. Now coming to emetic drugs or drug which induce vomiting. First is apomorphine, which is derivative of morphine. It acts by stimulating dopamine receptors in chemoreceptor trigger zone. It produces vomiting in 5 to 10 minutes. It is given as injection subcutaneously and intramuscularly. It causes respiratory depression. Next is ipecacuanha. It is obtained from roots of Syphilis ipecacuanha. It contains an alkaloid called emetine. Emetine acts directly on CTZ and also by reflex action by irritation action. It is available as syrup. Powdered mustard suspension and strong salt solution may also be used in emergency for inducing vomiting. They act reflexly by irritating stomach. Emetics drugs are mainly used in the poisoning or for the treatment of poisoning, but they are contraindicated in certain poisonings. All emetics are contraindicated in corrosive substances poisoning because of risk of perforation and further injury by corrosive substances. They are also contraindicated in CNS stimulant poisoning because of risk of convulsions. They are also contraindicated in kerosene or petroleum products poisoning because of risk of aspiration, because of low viscosity of these poison, because they are with low viscosity and they can go to the lungs. That is called aspiration. They are also contraindicated in unconscious patients because of risk of aspiration. In morphine and phenothiazine poisoning, emetics may fail to work. That's all in this presentation. Thank you very much.